In light of the discovery at Kamloops and Cowessess and Cranbrook today, Canada Day is here. It's just that it will be marked in a different way.
All Canadians, Indigenous and non-Indigenous, need to take tomorrow, yes, to celebrate the country that we are, but also to reflect on all the work we need to continue to do and understand with respect and compassion that some of our fellow Canadians don't feel like celebrating tomorrow.
The federal government is going ahead with Canada Day celebrations despite calls by some for it to be cancelled. Several communities, in fact, right across the country have decided not to hold any events this year after the recent discoveries of remains and unmarked graves at former residential schools in British Columbia and Saskatchewan. Steven Guilbeault is the Minister of Canadian Heritage. He joins us now from Montreal. Minister, thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure, David.
You know, last year, Canada Day, we didn't really celebrate because we couldn't. This year, there are people saying we shouldn't. The federal government is still going to hold its celebrations despite those calls. Why go ahead with it, given the circumstances this year?
Well, I think the Canada Day this year, as National Chief Bellegarde and the Prime Minister have said, is going to have a very different tone and a solemn moment of reflection. In fact, the program, the evening program tomorrow, will start with a moment of reflection. The opening number will feature Indigenous dancers, a drum circle, and the Canada Day program will feature Indigenous voices and artists in ways we've never seen before. So we believe it can be a moment to engage Canadians in this dialogue and in this moment of reflection and empathy with Indigenous peoples.
Minister, do you see this as a 2021 change in tone to Canada Day, or do you think this is a permanent change to Canada Day going forward?
I don't think this year is a one-off. I don't think we'll pay lots of attention to Indigenous issues this year and then forget about it next year. I think that I really don't think that's the case. In fact, we are seeing more and more. Just look at the legislative agenda of this Parliament, where we adopted we created a new National Day on Truth and Reconciliation, specifically so that people can learn. As a kid, I was never taught the history of residential school. In fact, I went to school. I was sharing the schoolyard with Indigenous kids from a residential school, and as a 5-year-old, I had no idea of their reality and what they were going through. It's only decades later that I learned about that. Well, we will now have a National Day in Canada where kids and Canadians of all ages can learn about that. We've adopted the United Nations Declaration of Indigenous People. We have a new commissioner for Indigenous languages in this country, and 3 directors, one representing Métis, one representing First Nations, and one representing Inuits. So I think that we are engaged in a path forward on reconciliation, but we have, and I'm the first one to recognize it, a long way to go.
I wonder, though, Minister, there are a lot of people who agree with you on this and want to walk this path and think the country should take this stride. But, you know, Canada Day, a lot of people raise the flag, they wear the flag, and they celebrate the flag. And on Parliament Hill this year, the flag is going to be at half-mast. I wonder, what do you say to Canadians who might not like to see that on a day of celebrating the country?
I think I can understand Canadians for very good reason wanting to celebrate. It's been a tough year and a half. We are starting slowly in different parts of the country to emerge from the pandemic, and there are many reasons why Canadians can and should be proud of the country we're in. But I think this year particularly is also a moment where we need to look at some of the darker chapters of our past and be very aware of this sad reality moving forward.
It sounds like you have some sort of a technical interruption there, Minister.
I'm sorry, they're making an announcement in the office.
Okay,
okay
all right. I didn't know if someone else was calling in and sideswiping our time with you or what was going on. All right, well,
No.
we'll try to work through it. Unfortunate, given the topic and the tone of what we're having.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Look, people know it's live. This is live television, and things are beyond our control. I'm wondering, though, when we think about the tone that you talk about, the balancing of reflection and celebration tomorrow, how are you going to celebrate? What are you going to do tomorrow, Minister, to try to strike that balance? And I hope you can give an answer through that noise. I don't know if it's being fair to you or not, but I give you the opportunity.
I'm going to celebrate very humbly with the family. My 14-year-old told me last week, Dad, for Canada Day, you have to wear an orange shirt as part of the orange shirt movement that led to the creation of the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. And we are, as a family, going to use this opportunity to have a discussion and reflection about the reality of Indigenous people and their suffering that they're going to, and how can we as Canadians be better partners moving forward.
Okay, Minister Guilbeault, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you very much, David.
Steven Guilbeault, the Minister of Canadian Heritage, joining us from Montreal.
Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.